Royal Tenenbaums was released in 2001 and directed by Wes Anderson. I've been thinking about this movie a lot recently because Royal Tenenbaum is basically the hilarious, ultimately heartwarming movie version of Donald Trump. Eats burgers and fries 3 times a day, doesn't pay his hotel bill, treats his family like shit. He's racist, he swears a lot, makes friends of enemies. He's bold, crude, selfish, self-centered, victim complex, a liar, thief, criminal, and he just wants his family to love him. Royal eventually makes great efforts to redeem himself and regain their love, maybe for the first time. I hate to say it, but I want that redemption for Trump. I can't wake up every morning hating someone. It's unhealthy, especially for 4 years. I want to let go of that hatred because it hurts people, especially me. That doesn't absolve Trump of any of his misdeeds, but humble penance could help. I'd love to see a shred of humanity from Trump. Give me one heartwarming moment, Donald, please. I was so motivated to rewatch this movie that I actually sacrificed almost $4 of my dwindling gift card from Christmas that my mom gave me so I could rent it. I'm glad I did because I had forgotten about Luke Wilson's attempt, and I realized it's because my mind blocks out things like that for a lot of similar events. He looks in the mirror and says, "I'm going to myself tomorrow." He tries it immediately. I know that feeling well. Your brain tries to delay the decision, but your body overrides and goes on autopilot. It doesn't feel like a decision, like someone else is controlling your body. Otherwise, the survival instinct would kick in. His hair cutting before was an attempt to change his reality, change himself. With the shaving cream still on his face, he whispers tomorrow and decides he doesn't want anyone to stop him. He based his entire life on worshiping Margot, and when that perfect image was shattered, he lost himself. The entire family rushing to his aid is what everyone should do. They didn't blame or berate him for it. They wanted to understand. That's a good family. This movie has an excellent soundtrack. Beatles, Rolling Stones, Paul Simon, Ramones, the Velvet Underground, Van Morrison. Like some of my favorite songs set to delightful or tragic emotional cues that really enhance the drama and comedy. When I started thinking about this movie, I learned to play Me and Julio by Paul Simon on my ukulele. And this song is during the fun and games montage where Royal takes his grandsons on a reckless law-breaking outing, riding garbage trucks and go-karts outside of a go-kart facility, shoplifting, and he took him to a dog fight. And when the boys return, Ben Stiller sees blood on his son's head, and Royal says, "Oh no, that's dog's blood." That's totally fine. I laughed so loud. Angry, broken Ben Stiller is not amused. He stops hating his father at the end and rides on a garbage truck with them, the only witness to his father's death. I would love to see one heartwarming moment where Trump is playing with his grandchildren. I don't know how many grandkids he has, but like not just using them as props, like sit at a little table and play Uno or something. The Margot Richie romance makes me pretty uncomfortable because my mom was adopted and I had only non-biological extended family until Ancestry DNA found our bio family like a few years ago. But before he died, my grandfather told my mom, "In our family, blood doesn't matter. I love you just the same." Royal Tenenbaum introduces Margot as his adopted daughter, which would have insulted my grandfather, Poppy, even though they were a lot alike. Racist, swears all the time, hilarious and grumpy. Poppy was a banker, though. He would never have Royal Tenenbaum's financial problems. Or Trump's. I think that's how I'm going to think of Trump for the next 4 years, like a wayward grandpa seeking redemption. From who? Just the ones who like you, like the Richies of the world? Or will you want us all to love you? Richie was the best character in the entire movie. He's loving, forgiving, understanding, just like freely giving of unconditional love to his entire family. And I realized that the script was written by Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson, who must have written Richie's part for his brother Luke. That means Luke must really be like that. Maybe exaggerated to a comedic extent, but showing even the most loving and kind people have a limit where there's nothing left inside because they've given it all away. Margot is the most complex character. Her secrets are a way to hold power over her family. Smoking and kissing boys with safety pins in their cheek on a bus because she knew they would disapprove. Them not knowing is a way to maintain her autonomy in her family where she feels like an outsider because of her father. Even though the rest of them are very loving to her and accept her as part of the family, she still felt like an outsider. And that's a common problem in adoption, unfortunately. Richie is always reading one book, 3 Plays by Margot Tenenbaum. He loves her writing. That's the most romantic part to me. Beyond romance, it's unconditional, understanding love. A true love for what's in her mind, not just how she looks or acts. Read what writers write and our purpose comes to fruition. There are only 2 professions, art and science. Both are equal to our survival and evolution. Work is only fulfilling with a purpose. I really feel bad for Bill Murray in this movie, though, because he's so sweet and cute. Like, he plays this funny character that's like totally like straight man, dry and stuff, but he's adorable, like studying this teenage kid with a neurological disorder. And he's so sad that, you know, he's losing Margot. And it's Groundhog Day today. And I'm going to share a really quick story about when I met Bill Murray. I was living in New York and I went with some friends to a lesbian bar in the East Village called the Kitty Corner, and in walks Bill Murray. And I'm like, oh my God, Bill Murray, what are you doing here? And he's like, he was there with his son. He said, picking up chicks, which is the funniest fucking thing that may have happened in my life. And I always cherish that memory. But also, Bill Murray, I had heard this rumor that Gene Hackman is like notoriously annoying on set and can kind of be like grumpy and uncooperative. And Wes Anderson was like 26 when he wrote and directed this movie, which wasn't his first, but it was one of his first. And like Gene Hackman like wasn't having it with him. So Bill Murray would show up even on the days when he wasn't filming, just like wearing a cowboy hat and just staring at Gene Hackman to intimidate him so that he would be nicer to Wes Anderson, which is just so sweet. Shout out to Bill Murray if he ever sees this. I love you. You're adorable. Also, Angelica Houston and Danny Glover are a nerdy, awkward ship that I adore. We all just want the best for them. Royal redeems himself to Ethel by giving her a divorce so she can marry Henry. Trump has divorced several wives, and only one is buried on his golf course. Royal Tenenbaum's headstone was a lie, saving his family from a sinking battleship, yet a good metaphor for how he rescued a sinking family by showing up and redeeming himself. They were being held back by their resentment of him. My favorite moment is when Royal is caught and he says, "These 6 days have been the best of my life." And it's like a freeze frame. He just looks like that, and Alec Baldwin narrates. As soon as Royal said this, he realized it was true. Challenge to Donald Trump: hug one or all 3 of your sons on camera. Treat your family better, and also the rest of us. Not with hugs. I don't want to hug Donald Trump. Don't try to hug me. No handshake either. He doesn't know how to shake anybody's hand. It's so aggressive, and I don't want him to dislocate my elbow. I'll accept a fist bump for America. Everyone, 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 everyone. Hi, until Elon Musk gives me $1 billion to start the Kaizen Writing Lab, I am making these videos for tips. So please contribute on Venmo or Cash App, and thanks for watching.